is George.
And my name is Antonis.
And this is Digital Kitsune, the talk show that empowers the digital marketing community by extracting knowledge from top marketing minds. And today with us, we have our first ever international guest coming from the United States, originates from Haiti. We have today Martine Cadet. So please, Antonis, as always, have the honor to present the guest to our audience.
Hello, Martine. We are both super excited to have you with us today. So guys, Martine Cadet is a social media coach for female coaches. She's based in New Jersey in the United States. And she helps female coaches getting clients on social media through organic content. And we're going to talk about that today. So Martine also runs a Facebook group of female coaches. Personally, we love her positive vibes and her energetic personality. So Martine, welcome to Digital Kitsune.
Hi, George, Antonis. I am excited to be with you guys today. I know we've been talking through DM on Instagram, which is one of my favorite platforms, and I'm delighted to be here with your community and finally get to see your faces because we've been talking through the internet all that time. Thank you for the warm welcome. Thank you for the introduction, and you're absolutely correct, Antonius. I am a coach for female coaches, business or lifestyle coaches. And what I do is I help them use Instagram and Facebook particularly organically so that they position themselves and be able to attract their ideal clients through my signature relationship marketing system. I love meeting new people. I love meeting thriving entrepreneurs online, and therefore I help my clients master building relationship while they use Instagram and Facebook organically, so that way they can offer with ease their mind-blowing coaching services online. So that is my jam and I love it. And yes, I'm energetic because I truly enjoy what it is that I do, and I'm so delighted to talk to you about it more.
First of all, digital marketeers all around the globe take notes because that's how you do an elevator pitch. You rocked my wall. Secondly, for Instagram, that was a spoiler alert. I wanted to ask you that, but I will join for the questions. I will get into the questions right now. I want to ask you about how do you take that decision to become a life coach for female coaches on social media? How did you get into social media marketing and coaching in general?
Oh, Georges, it's been such a journey. I know you could probably relate, and you also, Antonis, and anybody watching or listening, entrepreneur journey takes a toll, right? It goes up and down, and you try a lot of things. So I got here really by a journey, okay? So 2015, I started my journey on the internet because I literally hit a plateau with my corporate job, and I was like, I'm really bored. Although it was a really nice job, don't get me wrong, I did very well in corporate America. I've been able to land a position that enabled me to travel all over the world. I've been to China, I've been to Hong Kong, I've been to Vietnam, Thailand, 4- or 5-star hotel, wine and dine, beautiful. Anybody would want to do that, right? But I decided that it was time for me to try something for myself. And so I'm still at my corporate job. I'm still blessed for it. I'm still respectful of it. And so in 2015, I said, you know what? I'm going to invest into my entrepreneurial DNA that I knew that I always had. Back in Haiti, I started my first business. I was 13. I was selling Rice Krispies treats that I was making at my house, and I was selling it in the school. And so I'm sharing this with you because I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. And I met the internet because I wanted to research. And when I met the internet, I said, oh my God, look at all this information, right? YouTube, Google, Pinterest, blogs. I was like, this is gold. I don't have to go to the library anymore. This is crazy, right? And so I said to myself, I have to start something. I got to figure it out. And so I did. And I started with my handmade jewelry line. I was making it out of t-shirt yarn. And of course, I have an e-commerce store now. I need to market. How do I get to market and get new buyers? Ta-da! Instagram came along, and I'm like, wait a minute, this is a tool that I could use to market my business. I was already on Facebook for personal use, and I said, well, how do we do this as a business? And I started researching, and I really learned it all by default, right? So I'm not going to go through the entire history of it all because trust me, I had a lot of experiences. I don't like to call them failures, but I had a lot of experiences. But ultimately, honestly, the pivotal moment for me happened when Facebook from LA sent me an email in 2018 inviting me to apply to become one of their speakers at their event in my local town. And I was blown away thinking to myself, why would they want a girl from New Jersey with 200 followers on Instagram be on stage to talk about their platforms, right? I would think they would want someone with 100,000 followers on Instagram. And I didn't ask myself too many questions. I said, sure, I will apply, not thinking much about it. And sure enough, got on a call with Facebook, did my interview with them, didn't think much about it. And 2 weeks later, got an email saying you were selected to be one of the panelists at the event. And that did it for me. I could have very well said to myself, you know what, Martine, that was a great experience, walk away and never did anything with it. But no, and I'm sharing this with all of you watching this as entrepreneurs working hard to get visibility and really scaling your business online. Pay attention to the things that are happening with your business as you open up your heart to wanting to do something with yourself, right? And that's what I did that day. After speaking to 200 people, having people, standing online waiting to speak to me after my segment, really opened up my heart and my mind to start really diving into what was happening in my entrepreneurial journey at that point. And so with a lot of digging and a lot of research, I realized that really my love was digital marketing. The fact that I was able to brand myself, and I realized that I was able to do so because of my corporate job. I was a product manager. I was working with brands and licenses and design and packaging and QA. And so I dived in and looked at all my skills in corporate America, my own personal love of design, and decided to really challenge myself to figure out how can I put all of this together and make it something. And that make it something became a social media manager. So I became a social media manager. I was my own product, making sure that my Instagram profile was set up for success, so that I can represent myself to my potential clients to know that this is the thing that I can do for you. And so I was able to acquire clients. I had, no lie, between 15 to 16 clients at the same time, creating their content and also publishing their content on Instagram and Facebook while going to my day job, while being a mom of two, while being a mother, and scrubbing the tub and cleaning the house and everything. And so I did that for a while. And I realized, again, knowing Martine, she hits a plateau and she's like, oh, is that all I can do? I'm sure I can do way more than that, right? And this is at that point that I decided to finally invest in coaching. And I said, if I want to be a coach, I need to be coached. And so I invested in myself, invested in business coaches, success coaches, mindset coaches, really diving in and really wanting to master myself and my self-worth to becoming a coach for social media. Because one thing that I realized, a lot of the clients I was working with, they did not understand the core reason why I was asking for certain content to be given to me as a social media manager. And so I felt that I was coaching them. I was coaching them throughout the time that I was a social media manager for them, right? And so I dived in deeper and deeper with my coaches, my mentors also. Did a lot of apprenticeship with other people so that I could learn more. And so that's how I became into the whole social media realm of it. And that's how I coach now, social media.
That sounds a fantastic journey, seriously.
Thank you.
So, as a social media marketeer myself, I firmly believe that businesses can attract their potential clients through organic content on social media.
Absolutely.
So, what are your tips on building an efficient organic strategy through social media?
Ooh, I love that question. I love that question because, and I'm sure you guys are going to agree with me, as you mentioned, Antonis, with digital marketing is changing so much lately. And you hear everybody talking about you have to build connections. You have to be more authentic. It's not about the number of likes. It's not about the number of followers anymore. And everybody's trying to do that connection thing, right? But the question is, how do you do it? So for me, honestly, the number one tip that I would say is every time you open an app, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, or even LinkedIn, go in with the intention to start a conversation. Whether it's because you want to leave a comment on somebody else's post that you genuinely feel attracted to or aligned to, leave a meaningful comment. That's when the connection starts, okay? And the tip for me, that's the number one tip, is not to, it's a switch of mindset now. Don't look at social media for wanting to get the likes. Go on social media for wanting to get action. And that way, when you go in and leave that comment, when you go in and accept that friend's request on Facebook, know that the ultimate goal of you doing that is to spark a conversation, okay? And there's ways to do that, and it becomes a habit. I'll give you an example. If you open up a friend Facebook and you get a friend's request, right? I don't want you to just accept the friend's request and walk away. Okay, this person wants to friend you for a reason. They must have seen your profile, or they want to connect with you more. You don't know who they are. They might have a podcast. They might have a TV show. There might be something that they saw in you, which is why they wanted to be friends with you in the first place. Accept the friend's request and genuinely send them a personal message and say, thank you for the friend's request. I'm very, very excited to meet you virtually. I look forward to understanding what it is that you do. I look forward to being able to support you. Let me know more about what it is that you do. Get excited. This is a new connection. This is social media. Remember, we're all networking and it's a social platform. So that's the number one tip that I would say, is switching the mindset of opening those apps, whether you're ready to publish something or engaging. Remember that you are in there to connect with people and to start conversations.
That reminds me how we started our relationship with you on Instagram. We first commented in your post, and then you sent us a voice message, and it started something like that. It was fantastic.
Exactly. And I have to tell you, honestly, it becomes a habit. It becomes part of you. And I tell my clients all the time, it's going to become just like when you wake up, you have to go brush your teeth. That's how it's going to be. Just like when you put your sneakers on and you have to tie your shoelaces, it's going to become a no-brainer for you, because it's going to be part of you to talk and have relationships. And I love that you're mentioning that, Antonius, because there's one thing that I make sure that I do. I do not coach things that I do not do for myself, right? And so I'm so happy that you shared that with everyone, to know that all these things that I say, I do them myself. And that is why I know it's going to give you results, and I know it's going to make you feel good.
We totally agree.
Yeah, actually, so the key here, I think, is authenticity and real personal connections and engagement. That follows up to my next question, actually, because you have a corporate job and you go there and the company has an already established audience. But sometimes you go to a new job and they don't have an audience on social media and online at all. Or you want to create your own project. You want to become an entrepreneur, like yourself. How can you build that from scratch?
From the start, the one thing that I would say you should not do is, I'm going to start a website. That's not the answer. Okay, you are not going to start a website. I wish someone had told me that when I first started. And I like that you say, how do you build an audience first? That should definitely be your focus first. How do you do that? Well, you know, for me, I would say definitely identify a cadence as to when you want to show up. Be committed to showing up. Okay, I'm not suggesting that you show up every single day, every 2 hours, and kill yourself. Okay, if you are in a day job like me and you want to commit to show up online to connect with your audience, identify what works for you. If it is once every 2 days, once a week, whatever it is that works for you, commit to it, because there is power in repetition and consistency, because people are going to come to expect. Okay, so you got to build something, I believe, that works for you, so that way you don't get burnt out. I don't want you to do something just because she did it like that, or she's doing it like that, or he's doing it like that. I want you to do you and the way you want. Ultimately, find your own consistency. Now, as far as grabbing your audience and starting from scratch, is really, you're going to hear a lot of people saying, give them value, give them value. I agree. However, I don't want you to keep giving how to kind of content. How to kind of content for your audience gets really hard for them, because they're like, oh, another thing to do. Oh, another thing to do. Okay, and all they're going to do is shelve it and probably look at it at a later time. What I would want you to do is spend your time doing two things. One, do a very heavy market research to really truly understand who your market is, what are they struggling with, where are they hanging out. And secondly, while you do this market research, you're going to dive into your market's emotions. And what are they feeling right now? Where are they trying to get to? Where are they struggling, and where are they trying to get to? What words are they using as they're struggling through getting to their pleasure island? And once you understand that, that is the content that you're going to do versus the how to. Speak to their emotions, speak to their struggles, and really level up with them and share with them what you have found throughout the way of that struggle for yourself, because you're showing up because you have a solution for them, right? So 2 things to grab your audience is to, 1, be very clear on your market research. Start understanding what your ideal client is struggling with. What are they using as words? Secondly, is creating content, reverse engineer creating content, not the how-tos, but more or less be social, be human, and have that conversation with them as far as their emotions, and say, you know, I feel what you're feeling. I felt it too, but guess what? I found this. Go in the link in my bio. I have a free, cheat sheet for you. Go get it. It's going to give you results right there. And you start building your email list and you start nurturing them, and so on and so forth. That's how I would say to start.
That's great. That's great. So you run a growing Facebook group for female coaches on Facebook. What are your thoughts on community building through Facebook groups?
Ooh, I love Facebook groups. I think community building is absolutely the way to go. 2020, you're going to hear more about it, and it makes sense because, again, we're talking about connections, and we're talking about, being real. And so thank you for mentioning my Facebook group. It's all female coaches. I'm trying to understand how they can position themselves organically using Instagram and Facebook, so they can attract their ideal clients. And community is very, very important. As a business owner, it gives you the opportunity to stand in there as the leader and give you the ease to be able to give your solution to your people. Because let's be honest, guys, there's a lot of people that do what I do. There's a lot of people that do what you do. But at the end of the day, your community comes together because of you, because of your personality, because of the way you deliver. And therefore, everybody, I believe, has a signature element in their coaching, in their business. And the only way you can narrow down the pool of the internet is by creating your community. And in fact, one of the things that I teach my clients to do is a sales funnel where they use Instagram and Facebook to ultimately build them into a private Facebook group that they lead so that they can convert. So I strongly believe in Facebook groups, and 3 years ago, you asked me that question, I would say Facebook groups? Hell no. That doesn't work. Why? Because I used to have a Facebook group and I created it because every marketer said you should have a Facebook group, but I didn't understand the essence of it, the substance of it, and I closed it down. But today it's a completely different completely different story for me. Actually, today I just hit 300 members in my group. And 6 months ago, I had 15 members and I was stressing myself saying, how am I going to grow this group? Well, that's because I showed up and built relationship. And now I have 300 members in that group. So I strongly believe in community building, and Facebook groups are absolutely the way to go.
Yeah, I totally agree as a social media marketer.
Sorry. Yes.
And also the algorithm is pushing content from Facebook groups. So it's a good way to beat the algorithm.
For sure, for sure. And the algorithm, the way I look at it, you know, I was doing an Instagram engagement challenge not too long ago. I'm going to reinstate it again in a couple of weeks, where I speak about the algorithm. And the way I look at the algorithm, you should look at the algorithm as your friend, because it's a machine learning, okay? So it really works based on how you act on those apps. So be the friend of the algorithm. By that I mean, you know, engage genuinely with accounts that you believe are part of your industry, or accounts that you believe that you can bring value to. Engage with them genuinely, give them support. The algorithm is going to realize that that's what you're doing and you care for that type of community because of your activities, and it's going to keep feeding and giving you more reach to other people similar, and sharing your content more to people that it believes that you care for because of the way you're acting. So if anything, I would say don't game the system, be with the system, because yes, it changes a lot, the algorithm, because they give a different reasoning on how it should act. But the only way you can really stay put with it is by being you and making sure that you engage and do activities that truly work for your business, and you don't try to game the system, because that's only going to hurt you.
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right, so you mentioned that about content, so I really want to use that and go and move to my next question, because as a content marketer myself, I really like to ask other digital marketers about their insights and perspectives into this specific question. So how do you think you can build, what are the elements needed that you will have to have for a successful content marketing strategy for social media?
I think that the best elements that you have to look into with your content marketing is to ensure that you have a balance with what you're sharing. So that way you're not showing up too much as, you know, how to, but you inject a little bit of a balance as far as your personality, as far as the behind the scenes of your business, as far as, you know, I strongly say there are people, they're hiding behind their posts, they're hiding behind their content, versus showing up, you know, and sharing who they are. And so I believe strongly that there needs to be a balance when you build your content. So in fact, for Instagram, I have a free resource where I share that I help with that resource. It's a guide that helps you build an Instagram account where at any given time, when somebody lands on your Instagram profile, whether they're new or following you, they could look at your 9 last squares and understand who you are, what you look like, what do you have to offer, where's your expertise. That's the balance of the content marketing that I'm talking about. It needs to be a little bit of everything, a little bit of, okay, I see who this person is, I see what their expertise is, I see what they can help me with, I see the support that they have, all within that content, whether it's through videos or a quote or, you know, an infographic. There needs to be that balance and that mix. And that's what I believe is a successful content marketing. And that's going to avoid you being too heavy on the salesy side, being too light on the who I am side. You know what I mean? So a successful content marketing to me needs to have a little bit of everything. as far as being able to answer, who is this brand? What do they stand for? Can I trust them? Have they done this before? What are their expertise? And the only way to do that is to ensure that you sit down and create buckets for yourself as to what kind of subject you want to, tell people and engage people with, and then find a way to strategically break it down throughout. And hence why I say the 9 squares at any given time. I want to be able to land on it and clearly identify when I first meet you, what is this? This is a talk show. How many people come? There's like tons of people that keep coming on. They're just new, like it needs to, people don't have time. Okay. People just have like less than 3 seconds and they go away. Right. Mm-hmm. So you want to be able to grab them right there and then with a good mix of content.
Okay.
So Martine, in 2020, Instagram is all about authenticity, as you mentioned, communities, and real connections. What is your secret sauce on how to grow a business Instagram account and increase engagement in 2020?
For Instagram, I would say definitely pay attention to understanding who your market is. First of all, once you understand who your ideal market is and you know that they're on Instagram, then you go look for them. You go look for them, whether you go on the Explorer page using specific industry hashtags, or perhaps you go and dig in on other top influencers within your industry and see who they are following and really understanding their audience and do some comp shopping. I don't like to call it competition, but because it's not, but really understanding their market. And from there, I would say be intentional and look at these accounts and understand which one of those can you bring in value and start engaging with them. Now, you have to be very careful here. I don't want you to go out there and be spammy or be all over people's face. The way I look at Instagram, it's like a big, huge party. Think about you going into a party. You're not going to open the door and be like, hey, I'm here. And everybody's going to be like, okay. First of all, you're very loud. And second of all, who the hell are you? Right? You don't want to do that. You want to be, human and nice and walk in and say, hi, let me introduce myself. How are you in this big party? What do you do? I notice you do this and that, and really take the time. There's no magic pill other than the fact that you got to care. You got to care about wanting to help people. You got to care wanting to have conversations and really bring in value to people. You can't just wanting to go in there and just hammering things. Look at how Instagram got rid of those bots. Look how Instagram is making sure that you're not going to be able to see likes anymore, right? Because they realize that people have tried to game the system so much that they took away the authenticity of wanting to have a network and a community app, which it is, to connect people and help each other, right? So the way to grow your audience on Instagram, forget about trying to get more followers, forget about trying to get those likes, because honestly, the bank is not going to cash likes and followers, okay? The bank is going to cash engagement and transaction, right? So you want to have real transactions, real connections. And so pay attention to your market. Clearly, I cannot even stress this enough. Like, actually, my coaching program, my live coaching program that I have starts with market research. And I help my members really dive into a thorough market research, because that is the foundation of it all. It's going to help you understand who should you connect with, how you should talk to them, how you should, engage with them. So market research, number one, and then that way you can start engaging and grow your following and grow your community over time.
All right. I think I consider myself as an introvert, so I will use your tips for the party. Not like I was going there and say hello to everyone. I was just like stand in a corner and then speak to everyone. No, I'm just kidding. I want to ask the final question that we always ask to our guests, but since you are our first international guest, I think I will have to change it a little bit and ask tips not only for new digital marketeers who are watching this show, but also for female coaches and female entrepreneurs who want to start out. So please, the stage is yours.
Oh, my tips for my female coaches. Ladies, 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 you know how we want to be so perfect and always look great and have the perfect content and always look beautiful. Honey, let me tell you something, ladies. It's going to be so much comfortable for you to be yourself. Be yourself. For a long time, I wanted to be like her. I wanted to show up very, very fancy and having the great pictures and everything. Although this is great and gives you credibility, but what's going to give you even more credibility and great followers is when you show up as yourself. And you want to be comfortable too, right? So when you are able to show up as you and the way you are and in your comfy shirt and your comfy ways, it's going to be so much better for you. And trust me, people are going to react with that because they want real. It gets really intimidated sometimes. See, here's my English. I told you I don't speak English very well sometimes. Ha! French is my first language. So it gets very intimidating, at least for me, when I see like this perfect coach, all fancy, all put together. I'm like, oh, she's not going to like the crazy me, right? So be you, my dear. Be you. Show up when you want. Show up when you are, really in a space that you want to show up. Don't think about it too hard. Don't overthink it because you have a great message and there's tons of people waiting to hear about it. So that's my message to you, female coach.
And what about the new marketeers out there?
The new marketers out there, listen, guys, let me tell you something. Streamline. Enough with trying to figure out all those crazy funnels. And let me tell you, automation is there. I get it. Bots are there. I get it. And, trust me, I respect them, but I personally do not use them other than my email subscribers. I do automation, but for marketers out there, honestly, guys, take a step back, streamline your process, be very intentional. Pick one thing that you want to focus on and giving people results on. Focus on that, give the results, and grow as you go. Have a plan. Have a growth plan. Don't try to do everything at the same time, okay? Because it could get crazy. And if you do one thing and you do it very well and you focus on one platform and you master it all, get results, then move on to the next. Don't try to do everything at the same time.
It's impossible. It's impossible. Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Yes.
So my last question for you is, where can people find you online?
Oh, they can find me at martinecadet.com, which is my website. You can find me on Facebook as well. My name is Martine Cadet. You'll find me there. My group coaching program is called CTC. You can only enroll when you join me in my Facebook group, where I can give you all the deets and information. However, you can also find it on my website. So I'd say Instagram, Martine_Cadet is my name, but start with my website, martinecadet.com. That's where everything is. And feel free to message me. I'm a real person. I'll talk to you. Any questions you have, I'll talk to you, me personally. I don't have a team. This is me. So I'm excited to meet you.
And trust us, guys, Martine shares great Instagram stories. So for me, you have to follow her. It's crucial. Trust me.
Thank you.
All right. So this was our guest, Martine Cadet. Links will be down in the description. Of course, Martine Cadet, thank you for joining Digital Kitsune for our 6th episode. It was our pleasure, really.
Thank you. It was an amazing episode, I would say. And we are going to share your lead magnets, if you want, in our YouTube description, so people can download directly the lead magnet from our episode.
Awesome. Thank you so much, you guys. You guys are amazing. Thank you. Thank you for listening and watching.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.